Hi, my name is Tamer Zaman, and I have the privilege of being one of the founders of 1 Million Acts of Innovation. Have you ever been given the task of launching a project, product, or service within a company or within a community like that? Over the last few years, we've had the privilege of working with various innovation offices around the world. And we noticed that the ones that launch a particular project and then have it sustainable after they leave, they do 4 things significantly different. And so I want to share with you some of the lessons that we've learned because I think they're really key for today's complicated business world. The first one we've learned is that they ask a different question. See, if I ask a different question, I have to get a different answer. If I ask a different question, I have to get a different answer. In the last decade, one of the things we've experienced is Greece as a country went bankrupt. The city of Detroit as a city went bankrupt. So if I was a civil servant responsible for that country or that city, one of the questions that I would naturally be asking myself or asking my colleagues is, we need to reduce our services or our expenses by $500 million. That would be a natural question for somebody in that role to be asking. So if I said, if I need to reduce my budget by $500 million, what services am I going to cut? That'd be a question I should be asking, right? But here's the thing, if I ask a different question, I have to get a different answer. An innovative question could be, given the city's resources or given the country's resources and assets, how could we create $500 million of new revenues? That would be a different question to ask. How, given our cities or our country's assets and resources, how do we create $500 million of new revenues? This is 2 different questions to ask. When I'm talking about cutting, what I'm doing is I'm getting people afraid of losing their jobs. I'm getting citizens afraid of losing their services. But when I ask a question of innovation-based question, also I'm getting people engaged. All of a sudden people are becoming my stakeholders. Which one would you rather prefer to ask? And how do you know you should be asking a different question? Is simply look around. Are people on the projects that you're working on the product services that you're trying to launch, are they engaged? Because if they're not engaged, it might be an opportunity for you to look at or be inquire about what's the question that you ask yourself. The second thing successful chief innovation officers around the world doing is they get and they work on something called a setup. And the thing about the setup is never over. See, I may be launching another 1 Million Acts of Innovation movement somewhere around the world. I may be doing that. And the thing is that I could have a launch party and get a bunch of people really excited about this whole new idea. But just because they're excited about that whole new idea yesterday does not mean that they're going to be excited about it next week, next month, or next year. What a chief successful officer is doing, they know and they get the setup is never over. And they're constantly working on the setup. If I was going to go and pitch an innovation-based project to a company like Microsoft, Google, whoever, and they say no to me, the setup is not over. It doesn't mean they're going to say no to me next month, 5 months from now, next year, or 10 years from now. The setup is not over. The third thing that chief and successful ones are doing consistently is that they're engaging community. See, I'll give 1 Million Acts of Innovation as an example. For me to go and create 1 Million Acts of Innovation all by myself, let me tell you, that's called mission impossible, right? But if I can go and engage other people around the world to help on the noble cause called 1 Million Acts of Innovation, it becomes a little bit more easier. Successful chief innovation officers know and get, it's not about them and their team doing the particular project, it's what are the communities that they need to engage, what are the stories they need to engage, and go and engaging communities in that role. Then there's a 4th thing, and this is really important. I actually got trained in this from our chairman, John King. And John said to us when he was training all the co-founders of 1 Million Acts of Innovation, he suggested that human beings participate in anything in life in 3 ways. At any moment, at any given time, any human being is either auditing something, or we have an attitude called best I can, or we're all in. So when it comes to me and my career, when it comes to me and my health, when it comes to me and working on a particular project, I'm either auditing it, or have an attitude called I'll do the best I can, or I'm all in. Right? And so one of the things that successful innovation officers do is they demand to work with people who are all in. I mean, you work with people who are all in, your experience is different than people who are auditing something. The results you produce, the sustainability of the project is radically different when the team is all in versus a team that maybe you might be all in, but other people are auditing it or have attitude called best I can. And why don't you deserve to really work with people who are all in? Like, how awesome could that be? My name is Timur Zaman. Thank you. Please follow us on Twitter at 1 Million Acts. Please leave comments below this video to tell us what is it that you take away from us, what is it you're learning, what are some questions you have for us. Allow us to get to know you better. Allow us to be of service and contribution to you. And thank you.